The second thing you're looking at is reserve capacity. It's the number of minutes a battery will give off 25 amps. And what that is, why they use 25 amps, if you look at the auto industry, the cars, 25 amps is the number of amps it takes to run a car. That's to run the ignition and the lights and that kind of stuff. And so if your alternator suddenly quit, what that number tells you is how many minutes you have before your battery is completely discharged and you're going to be stranded. So if you're between two cities and you have, 120 reserve capacity, you have 120 minutes to get this car parked, or it's going to park you, and you're going to be stranded. And so reserve capacity tells you that. This battery here doesn't give me reserve capacity, but it has 230 cold cranking amps or 290 cranking amps. It actually gives us both. That's the average amount of power it takes to run an automobile. Along with cranking amps and amp hour rating go together. Amp hour rating is a 20 amp discharge. Cold cranking amps and reserve capacity go together. So this is 25 amps versus 20. So that's kind of a marketing gimmick that people will throw at you and play with you. Amp output, how many amps a battery puts out is dependent on two things. One, the size and number of plates. The more plates you have, the more lead you have in a battery, the more amps it's going to put out. You look at this battery here, it's a golf cart battery. It's only a 6-volt battery, but it weighs about twice as much as this battery. And it's because on a golf cart, I want to go a long time. So they're trying to just put lead. They're just trying to put lead in that thing. And so we're going to put 6 of these batteries, and we're going to pack as much lead in there as we can. And the more lead we put in there, the longer it will run. If you go cheap and you spend less money on a battery, what they're going to take away from you is lead. And so it's not going to last as long. You don't have the capacity. And the other thing they're going to take away is your warranty. So when you go to the store and buy a battery, you're buying two things: cold cranking amps, which is lead, and a warranty. And the more warranty you buy and the more cranking amps you have, the better the battery is going to be. Each cell is going to have one positive and one negative plate. That's a minimum. It can have a lot. You look at this battery here, it's got quite a few. This golf cart one's going to have a lot bigger plates and quite a few plates in it. Each cell is going to have 2.1 volts. If I have 6 cells, how many volts your battery be? 6 cells and they're 2.1. It's 12.6. So they talk about 12-volt batteries, but a 12-volt battery, if you actually measure with a multimeter, it's actually 12.6. It's not 12, but rather than talking about decimals all the time, they just talk about a 12-volt battery. An 8-volt battery is really 8.4, 6 volts really 6.3. But they just talk about even numbers. Each one is going to be 2.1 volts. Good things that I'm going to do to a battery. I want to clean the terminals. There's 2 different ways you can clean the terminals. This is a wire brush. It has 2 functions. One, there's an internal one that you stick on battery posts and you turn them and you can clean them. The other side, if you take it off, that's to clean the wire that goes on here. So it's got 2 purposes. This type of battery terminal cleaner actually just has like a plate in there, and when I stick it on this terminal and I turn it, it actually scrapes. And you'll actually get quite a bit of lead come off of one of these when you do that.